Hello everyone, welcome to my new crash test of the destructible BMW M3 GTR from Need for Speed Most Wanted, which I created from scratch out of plasticine. You'll see 5 collisions in total, 2 to the front of the car, 2 to the rear, and 1 to the side of this BMW. To make the new crash test more epic, I created a large truck specifically for this video. It will act as an obstacle into which this BMW from the game will crash. I made it out of cardboard, glue, plasticine clay, and aluminum foil. It's very heavy. I intentionally made it heavier so that it would be a massive and large obstacle, and wouldn't fly off in a hard impact with this BMW. The crash test turned out to be large and ambitious as it's a 1/16 scale. Both of these models are made in 16th scale. The BMW is 28 centimeters long, and this truck is a whopping 37 centimeters. Because of this large scale, we'll see more realistic damage to this clay BMW, which will look even cooler than in 24th scale as I usually do. I spent a lot of time and effort on all this work. I hope you'll support my video by liking it and subscribing to my channel. Help me reach 100,000 subscribers before the new year. I'd be very happy about that. Before I quickly wreck this BMW in a couple of minutes, which took me to whole months of painstaking work to create, I'll first show you my work in more detail. You can watch the detailed process of creating this BMW in a separate video, where I show the entire sculpting process from the very beginning to the finished model. I worked very hard on this car and worked on many details. The result is an exact replica of the BMW from Need for Speed Most Wanted. The interior detailing is identical to the one in the game. I tried to capture every element. The lightweight interior, roll cage, sporty red seat, and other racing elements. Now look at the engine. I managed to create amazing detailing. It looks very realistic. This is exactly the engine used in the BMW. I also recreated the paint job and stripes on the body as they appeared in the game. To achieve this, I painted the model in several stages, and the result was excellent. I created many elements to ensure the crash test and damage looked realistic. To make the damage possible, I made the body parts of this BMW thin, which encourages deformation of the body, as I've done many times before. And if you accelerate the clay car hard against an obstacle, it will bend, resembling real car damage but on a scale. Since clay is a soft material, it can be shaped into almost any shape. Now fasten your seat belts. We're about to begin the crash test. This is the minor damage the truck sustained. Just a few scratches on the large chrome bumper. The seat couldn't withstand the impact and flew off. If there had been a driver, he wouldn't have survived. This is the damage the BMW sustained. I deliberately pushed the car down the middle to see how much it would bend. The damage looks really cool and realistic. The hood was realistically bent, bulging upward, and even split in half. The worst damage was in the center. The grille was severely damaged, the bumper and radiator were bent, and the left headlight lens was blown off. This is a cool simulation of a truck collision. This is what would happen if the game had realistic car damage. This is how hard the BMW hit the truck's bumper. The angularity of the damage is clearly visible. This is how damaged the engine is under the hood. We can see that it's pinched and has sustained significant damage, and the radiator is completely invisible. Now let's perform the second collision. This time, I performed a straight collision into the truck's powerful bumper, and the damage looks as if the car had crashed into a solid, flat wall. That's how devastating the front end looks. It's painful to watch, but it looks absolutely epic. I managed to achieve very realistic and natural-looking damage to the bodywork, and it's all made of plasticine. Amazing. Even the door was bent from such a violent impact. Various parts are severely deformed with dents and cracks in the paint, and the engine sustained this much damage. Everything was even more displaced and pinched by the impact. I also created a simulated broken glass. It looks more realistic, and that's how much damage the engine sustained. Everything was even more displaced and pinched by the collision, and you can see how the side fenders were bent. Now, let's perform a collision on the rear of this BMW. This is the damage from the rear-end collision, this massive truck. And look how many scratches have already appeared on the bumper of this truck. I checked the center of the bumper and trunk again for strength, and as you can see, they were bent very badly inward. The spoiler, of course, flew off after such a violent collision. I also added some cracks to the glass for a more realistic look. I like the way it looks. It looks very natural and believable. There are a lot of cracks where the plasticine is broken. Let's do another collision in the back to lay it flat. This is just insane. Just look at how badly the rear end was crushed. It was completely destroyed. It was an incredibly powerful collision. Nothing was left intact. Every part was destroyed. The damage only reached the rear wheels. The damage didn't go any further. Apparently, the rear end wasn't as strong as I thought. That's the interesting result of this collision. Now I want to simulate a side impact with a road pole. For that, I'll install a fake pole like this. Now it's time for the final collision. That looked really epic. The BMW's high speed knocked over the pole and it gave way. It looked so realistic. The door was badly bent. The impact occurred right in the center of the door. It even opened slightly. The imprint of the round post is clearly visible. Even the roof buckled where it hit. But of course, the threshold and door bore the brunt of the impact, so they were the ones most bent. Considering this is all made with plasticine and handcrafted, the result is fantastic. Such a cool and natural deformation deserves your like. The car is completely smashed and destroyed. We saw very beautiful and realistic deformation of the car body, handmade from plasticine. At scale, the damage itself closely resembles real life, and the large-scale car shows more accurate deformation of the body parts than the smaller one. However, it also takes much more time to create. Leave your thoughts on this crash test. Did you like it? And was it realistic or not? It will be interesting to see what you think. The car is already starting to fall apart. The entire structure is barely holding together due to the intense collisions. Now I'll be taking it apart piece by piece, and you can see how this BMW is made from the inside. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it and found it interesting. I worked really hard to create such a cool crash test, and I'd be very grateful if you subscribed to my channel and liked my video. See you in future awesome crash tests. Bye.